This is Annie of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Thank you so much for joining us today for Live with Annie. As usual, we've started the stream a bit early. This helps us get everything set up and broadcasting properly to our various platforms. You can find a countdown clock on the screen showing how long it will be until we actually go live. While you wait, please connect with us and other viewers in the chat. Let us know where you are from and whether you're a new or longtime viewer. We'll see you live soon. Hi, it's Annie again, reminding you that we'll be going live with this week's episode shortly. There is a countdown clock on the screen showing how much time is left. You've got just enough time to grab some water or a beverage of your choice and a snack, and to connect with us in the chat. We'd love to hear what you've been working on this week. Again, it's Annie, back to remind you that we'll be starting this week's live very shortly. We've got a really fun episode planned for today, and we'll see you soon. Hi, I'm Annie of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 31 of season 4 of Live with Annie. Today we are joined in the studio by Nicole Wilkins of Nicole's Stich'n'up. Nicole is a master at quilting, sewing, and adapting ByAnnie patterns. She sells amazing custom bags in her popular Etsy shop and generously shares photos of her projects on social media. We will showcase Nicole's projects and talk about everything from choosing and storing fabrics to the business side of bag making, so stay tuned. We are so happy to see you all here today and thank you for making the time to be with us. We know that there are always so many things you could be doing with this time, and the fact that you have made time to be with us really means a lot. If you enjoy these episodes, please follow us wherever you are watching and tag your friends too. We also love your feedback, so share your thoughts, tips, and projects in the comments and ask questions too. We will answer as many as we can before we wrap up. Last week, Teresa had a really interesting visit with Carly Porter of Graffiti Quilting. Carly shared lots of fun stories and great tips for enhancing ByAnnie projects with freeform quilting. If you missed it or want to watch it again, remember that you can find all the previous 168 episodes of Live with Annie on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or at ByAnnie.com. And we will put up all the links to make them easy for you to find. Quick drink of water. We've got lots of talking to do today. So today I'm especially excited to welcome Nicole Wilkins of Nicole's Stich'n'up to the ByAnnie studio. Nicole loves sewing bright colors and creating custom bags. She has a popular Etsy shop, is very active on Instagram, and is also a very active member of the ByAnnie Bag Makers group on Facebook, which is how I found out about her. She is always ready to share advice and tips and to show her beautiful creations. So please help me welcome Nicole to Live with Annie.
Hi everyone.
It's so great to have you here.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed that you came in a little bit early yesterday, so we had some time to get to know each other. I hadn't met you in person yet, so that was really fun. Before we start talking about sewing, I would really love it if you could tell us a little bit about your background. People are going to notice right off that you have a little bit of an accent, so tell us where you're from and how you ended up here.
So I was born and raised in Germany, and somehow I ended up here in the United States, in the desert, and I love it here.
You love it here. How long have you been in the U.S.?
Over 20 years now.
20 years.
Yeah.
And did you speak English this well before you came to the U.S.?
The school English, but not that well.
But living here, it just becomes second nature, doesn't it? Yeah. You're very easy to understand.
Oh, thank you.
We laughed yesterday. You said when you don't know the words for quilting designs, you say, "Oh, that snickerdoodle design."
The snickerdoodle design, or thingies, or dingsbums. That's my words. Yeah. So
even when you speak English every day, I use those same words when I can't come up with the same thing. So that's good. So I wanted to ask: have you always been creative? When did you start sewing and making bags?
So actually, my whole family, we like to do arts and crafts. My mom, she was so talented with knitting. She was a lace maker. In Germany, it's called Klöppeln. And she did everything.
So laces like for shawls or clothes?
Oh. Yeah.
And was that done with the bobbin
Exactly,
lace?
with the bobbins.
Oh.
So she... And my sister and I, we do it silk painting on silk, and then I started later on with knitting. And 6 years ago, I started with sewing, so pretty late. And I remember the first time I went to the quilt shop, I found Tula Pink's fabrics, Stella Luna, and since then I'm hooked with Tula Pink fabrics. Yeah.
Is that primarily what you sew with, is Tula's fabrics?
Yeah.
I noticed everything that you brought today to share is Tula's New Tabby Road, so I can't wait to share it and tell more about those. Did you start making bags? Was that the first thing you started with, or more sewing garments or quilts, or where'd you start?
No, I did like 2 bags. I self-drafted my own patterns and started really small, and it was more for fun. And then I think with the Golden Nights back then, I started making 2 bags, and then I figured out, I can sell them, And so I slowly started selling them and started with Etsy, and
Worked your way into that.
Yeah, and then I discovered Instagram and found Christy from Rock Baby Scissors, and she's my big making idol. I love
She
her
does
work.
amazing
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
I love everything that she's done. So that's Christy Sachs of Rock Baby Scissors, who I'm sure a lot of people have followed her as well. I've tried to get her to come on on Live with Annie, and you told me yesterday that she said she's too afraid to do it, but we're going to work on her because I think she would be a great guest. She's got her style of how she quilts and put things together is so much fun.
Yeah.
Really fun to see. So I have really enjoyed over the years seeing the bags that you've made and posted on the Bag Makers group. And thank you, Randy, for creating that group. It is so much fun to see all the creative people that are on there and how generous everybody is about sharing what they've made and sharing tips and advice. So I know that you have been really busy getting things ready for this. So I think we're just going to start by talking a little bit about some of the projects that you've made. And so everything that you've done for today is made using Tabby Road, and I want you to tell us a little bit about these because I know that you've got some things in here that I haven't seen before, like this fun little ribbon. So tell us a little bit about what you did different on these.
I really didn't do anything different besides using regular magnets.
And sewing.
Yeah, and to cover these, I quilted everything, and to cover the magnets here, I used just a piece of ribbons, and it's just a grateful use for little scraps of ribbons, you know, what you can do.
Such a smart idea.
Yeah.
And that's a new ribbon from Renaissance Ribbons, right?
That's the brand new Tabby Road ribbon.
Is it out now?
It's already out, and I have to say a big thank you to Free Spirits, to Kirsten and Chelsea from Pink Door Fabrics for sending me all the fabrics and the ribbons a little bit earlier so I could be ready for the show.
For the show.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And I love how you quilted that, just following the designs on the fabric. It looks so nice, and that makes it so easy to do.
Yes, it is. It is.
I was going to show the set that we made. So we made one using the new Untamed, and the pattern includes a little tab on the back, so if you want to hang it up you can. You said you chose to leave that off, but that would be another good use for ribbon if you had the narrower ribbon to just sew that in and be able to hang it up if you wanted to. But those are so very cute.
Thank you.
And then this little hot and heavy just turned out so great. And I know you made a few changes on this. One thing that I really loved was looking... Say it again? Oh, hold it back. I keep forgetting, getting my head out of the way and holding it back. So I love how you quilted this with just simple diagonal lines, but it really gives it a lot of fun interest and holds the layers together well. And then you had said you really love pockets, so you did a pocket on the front as well as one on the back. And I have to look, this is perfect for holding your little mini Oliso iron. So
Can you show the back one more time? I missed it.
show the back. Let me set this outside here and I'll turn it around. So basically very same. Did you do the cat exactly the same, or did you position it a little bit differently?
I think it's a little bit differently, but I try to catch it all the time the same, you know, the same position. And I make me templates, the see-through templates that I know
where it's falling out. I really love the combination of fabrics that you used here, because to do the whole thing out of cats is hard. They get covered up and you lose them. But doing this more overall pattern in the back enables you really to focus on those cats right there in the center.
Yes.
Really cute.
And I'd like to do fussy cutting. I just like to do that.
You're crazy. Fussy cutting is not my favorite thing in the world, but I love too how you fussy cut even the stabilizer sleeve on the inside so that the cat's right there in the middle. And then the mesh pockets on each side to put things in. That really turned out cute. And is this the Tula webbing too that you used on here, or is this a different webbing?
This one is from Georgia Girl Stitches.
That's really nice.
I buy a lot of her webbing, and they just go great with Tula pink fabrics. Yeah,
very cute. And then these cute little cat charms. Where did you find these? They're
These
so fun.
I've ordered from Temu. And yeah,
Uh-huh.
I had
your nice
Tula
label.
showed these little zippers, and I was just searching, and then I found them on
Found 'em on
Temu.
Temu.
Yeah.
Very cute. All right, so that's a hot and heavy, the small size. We also have that available in a larger size, which you can see sitting behind me. That is that holds the large Ollie sew
Yes.
iron. Then you did a really awesome eye cases, and I want you to talk about this because we were talking about one of the problems with eye cases is that, try to open that without being too noisy, is that, so the back, the piece that makes the back of the bag, this is a separate pocket put on, but if you want it to be upright on the back, when it folds over, it's going to be upside down. So you had said you started out with the cat snacks fabric and didn't like how it was upside down on the top, so you ended up putting another piece. Tell us a little bit about what you did there.
So I just checked from underneath here from the binding the distance to the front, measured it, and fussy cut it, and added this little cute cat on it. Because
So you just laid that on top of your already quilted
Yes,
fabric, and
yes.
then just let the zipper, the top of the zipper and binding cover the
cover it up,
edge.
just like you do with the borders, you know.
Uh-huh.
And
Just did it the very same way.
Yes.
Oh, so you sewed it on and folded it
Yeah.
over like that.
that's
Clever idea.
That's so simple, yeah.
Clever idea.
And I really like it that it showcases the kitty, you know. Because if I would use that fabric for here, I would cover it up as well.
Which is something I have to show. So one thing to pay attention to when you're making any bag, and you would think that I would know this and that I would have thought about this, but so I did pretty well on this one. So this one we used similar fabrics, but what you used for your front, I used for my back pocket. And then I took the cat snacks, and the thing that I realized is that it didn't matter to me that they were upside down inside that pocket. And this pocket was going to cover whatever was upside down on the back. So I positioned them so that when they came over to the front, they were right side up. But you decided to leave the border off on the front so
Yes.
that you could really feature that kitty. Well, we used the kitty fabric for a large one, and part of my problem is when I'm doing a pattern, I really need to make my models the way the pattern is written. So I didn't feel like I could leave off the border. So I decided to feature the kitty on the front, and I went to a lot of painstaking effort to center and cut that cat. So I had two of them showing, and you can see what happened here. I mean, I couldn't have planned that worse if I had tried, but the Velcro went right through the cat's face. And then when the flap closes, you know, it cut off its head. So sometimes when my daughter was little, we went in a store and she saw a sign that said, "No one is totally worthless. They can always serve as a bad example." And so this is my bag that I'm saying is not worthless. It's just don't do this. So this is my example of something that didn't work out as well as I thought it would. So something to think about. You figured it out much better than I did.
But you learn from your mistakes, you know.
You definitely do. You definitely do. And sometimes, you know, somebody might look at that and say, "Oh, not the fabrics I would have been chosen," and so it's what not to do, not always what to do. It's
Right.
here, skip that one. So, all right, next let's talk about this beautiful bag, and I'm going to let you tell all the amazing things you did on it. So you really went all out on that bag.
So this is the Bowl Me Over, and Chelsea, she sent me a kit to
So
make
Chelsea from Pink Door Fabric
pink door fabric.
and Renaissance Ribbons.
Yeah, and I made that bag, and I fell in love with make that bag. So I knew when I saw the Tuppy Road, I had to make the bag, because on the flap you can showcase either a ribbon or you can do foundation paper piecing, what I did here. And this one, those arrows, they are just regular flying geese.
Yeah, you got to show that a little bit. So if you, I'm going to turn it here. So if you look here, here is your flying goose. This is exactly a flying goose, but it's got the background fabric for the goose and the same fabric as the goose here for the sides. And instead of creating a row of flying geese, you get a row of arrows. That is just a brilliant design.
Thank you. So I also added here ribbon, and here on the back side I added ribbons.
And
Yeah.
it's interesting, I have never thought about adding ribbon on those little facings, but just the perfect use for those. And that ribbon is so perfect to echo your design here.
This one is actually my favorite one.
Really?
This one, yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's really
love
fun.
that ribbon.
That's
Yeah.
really pretty. And then I love the way you combined, you use the stripes for the zipper strip. What is this one called? I can't remember. This disco medallion or something?
No, I don't know. I cannot recall it right now.
Me neither. I have to say, though, I watch Tula every week on her live, and sometimes she forgets the names, too, so I don't feel quite so bad. But it turned out beautifully. And then on the inside, what did you do?
On the inside,
You did
yeah.
full-height mesh pockets with bindings on both using that same stripe that you used down at the bottom.
Yes.
Those are really fun.
So
Very,
it's
very
it's just a great little bag, and I just like the shape of it, and it's a great bag.
It's a great bag for carrying as a purse.
Right.
It's a great project bag. You can get a lot in it. I've seen people use that as a diaper bag when the kid's a little bit older and they don't have to carry 20 sets of clothes and 50 diapers.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many ways you can use it.
Yes.
I've seen people use it as a lunch bag. Lots of fun ways.
I just love the shape of it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love to make it.
I was surprised to hear that you had never made Ultimate Travel Bag. And I
No.
always tell people, if you love Bowl Me Over, be sure to make Ultimate Travel, because that's its big sister. It's almost the same bag, just bigger, which sometimes makes it easier to make.
I have to make that.
Yeah, you've
for
got
sure.
to do that one.
Yeah,
But
and
that turned out good. And then your multicolored handles are really pretty too.
this is webbing I purchased from Indolove Creations, and this webbing is just perfect for the whole entire
Tula Pink line.
Tula Pink line.
Yeah.
Not
it's-
just for that fabric, but for the past lines too. I love the bright colors, and it just goes with it perfectly.
You wonder how often those companies that produce that buy Tula's fabric and then dye to match.
Right.
They'd be smart if they did.
Yeah, it would.
I also noticed you did rivets on here. Do you do that pretty regularly? I have not played with rivets yet.
Not much, because I gave my machine away,
Oh,
and
no.
yeah, I gave my machine away because I really didn't use it. But I wanna definitely will use it a lot more, because it just gives a little touch and more strength to the handle and everything, you know.
Yeah. Turned out really nice.
Thank you,
Very nice.
thank you.
All right, now next let's talk about this amazing a place for everything that you have here. I'm going to let you talk about that one too.
So that's the regular A Place for Everything. It's one of my favorite patterns to make, and I just love to make
When
it.
I saw the picture that you sent me, I had not seen this new ribbon from Renaissance Ribbons with the dots on it, and I thought, my goodness, what fabric did she use? Did she cut all those dots out and sew them together? Because I have seen people do that, where they
Yeah.
take the dot fabric and cut little squares and sew them together. So I was glad when I saw that it was a ribbon, because that looks a lot more reproducible, but really cute. And I also love how you did the stripes on the diagonal in the background.
That was an idea from Christy, Rock Baby Scissors, and I've asked her if I can use it, you know, her idea, and she said, of course you can. So, yeah.
It looks great. And then talk about the paper piecing border that you did on there.
That's a curved paper piecing border, and you see a lot of paper piecing from other bag makers, and I just wanted to do it a little bit different, you know, it's not the same. So I found that pattern on Etsy, and it's just a curved flying geese border, and yeah, and I added it on the corner. Actually, my plan was first to do it on the top, but because it's curved, it's a little bit bigger,
Too
you know.
wide.
So I was doing a long border, and I was thinking, okay, shoot, now I cannot use it, what I'm doing, and then I just added it on the front. And I really like how it looks like in the corner.
Yeah,
here.
I do too. And you did a great job of positioning the cat so that it makes good sense over there.
Thank you.
Really, really nice. And then I also love the same medallion, the diamonds. Disco Diamond, is that maybe what it's called?
Disco Prism?
Lucy.
Disco,
Yeah, Disco Lucy,
Easy?
yeah.
Lucy.
Disco Lucy Prism.
Lucy.
Prism.
Okay, thank you. Disco Lucy Prism.
Yeah.
Good deal. I would never have remembered that one. And then let's look at the back. What did you do back there?
That's just another
Centered
kitty.
the cat
Yeah,
really
center
well.
the cat.
And I really enjoyed how you quilted that. So enough to hold the layers together, but kind of created a frame around the outside of the cat to really make it the focus. Nice job.
Normally do not like Tula Pink's faces or everything. I don't know, I cannot quilt over the faces. So I try to go around, but when you go so much around, you have a lot of loose fabric. And I like it quilted, so I just trace it around.
And
Yeah.
then did just the diagonal
Yeah.
lines. And I had asked you when I saw this if you used a double needle to do that, and you said no. But you were telling me that your machine has an 1/8 inch foot and a 1/16 inch foot. So is that the foot that you use when you do that? Or do you just use a walking foot?
I use the painter's tape,
Oh.
and I just lay it on the fabric before I scribble on the fabric. I like to do the painter's tape, the blue painter's tape, and lay it on. So, and then I just go over maybe an 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 inch, how I want to have the distance, and I just quilt it.
Quilt it. That looks great.
Yeah.
All right. Show us the inside of that beautiful bag.
The inside. So the inside, I didn't do any modification on that bag, I think.
So you did the style 2 pages, the style 3 pages, which are the 2 pockets and the 3 pockets.
Yeah.
So this is style 2. This is style 3. I love the different colors of zippers that you picked. Or is that zippers or is, oh, that's bindings
It's the
on
binding.
there. Now what fabric is that? Is that just a solid
It's a finished
true colors?
binding you can purchase actually everywhere.
Ah.
It's a game changer if you have the finished binding already, because it saves you so much time before you have to iron everything. So I like to use that.
Ah.
And here is your
And
last.
you know, when you're making bags to sell, all those minutes that you can save are money. I
yeah.
mean, you've got to be able to do
That
that
for
to
sure.
be able to do that. That's really clever. I've never ever seen that, and I didn't even focus on that that's what you'd done there. And then on the back you did a slip pocket and a zippered pocket. Same on both of them?
Yes.
Just exactly the same. Great. Oh, but here you did purple
And
mesh, and on that one you
white.
did white. That's, let me see that one and we'll see if the camera can see it. It's always interesting to me how a different color of mesh can totally change the look of a fabric. So here that cat snacks, I think it's
Yeah,
called,
the cat snacks.
shows up totally differently than it does over here, even though it's the very same background on each one. So that really is awesome. And then you use the same
The
ribbon webbing for your facings on the inside. That's nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
That is a beautiful bag.
So, and to cover the raw edges, I just added, because I don't like raw edges.
And it's hard when you've got a heavy webbing like that to turn them over and make it look good. So you just made a little sleeve out
Like
of,
a zipper tab, just
Zipper
like
tab,
zipper
okay.
tab, and you just put it on the wrapping, because even if I burn the edges a little bit or melt the edges, after a while you use it, it comes loose.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, those are like zipper tabs over.
That's a
it.
great idea. You know, one thing that I've done too that you might try is just take a little piece of vinyl, clear vinyl, and fold it over.
That's a great idea.
Stitch a 1/4 inch away, and then you can cut the excess, and that will last a long
That's
time
a
too.
great idea. Thank
Super
you.
easy. Yeah, a lot easier than that. Time is money. All right, you're going to have to reach that bag that's back over there, which is, again, one of my very favorites. And this is a customized bag that Nicole made.
That's the mini, a place for everything, but it's also the case in point.
Right, so I have a case in point here that I wanted to show, so you can kind of see the original, and then we'll talk about the changes. So
About right here.
for each of us?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the original case in point, which has a front and a back with pockets. You can see it's not nearly as deep as the one that Nicole made. And then when you open it up, it's got, I designed this for people who crochet. So I made it with pockets that are labeled and divided so that you can put your crochet hooks in here. And I figured that somebody would be sitting and using this, and they'd probably set this down on the floor. So I made it so that everything was accessible from the top. And so you can put your hooks in on each side and all of your pockets opened at the top. And then you could put your ball of yarn right there in the middle and not have it rolling around. But what you did is you made it more for somebody who's going to open it up and use it for EPP or something. And so you changed the orientation. So you've still got a pocket page that is very similar. So this is the pocket page. So I want you to show what you have done on the inside. And then we'll talk more about the outside too.
It's the same size and everything, just like yours.
So you can see, yeah, she took the same size, but rather than orienting the pockets so that you access them from the top, she accesses them this way. And they're made exactly like the orientation in A Place for Everything, just sized to fit this.
Yeah, you actually do not have to change anything from the sizes. You just have to change a little bit, like where you want to have your pocket.
Right.
Or however you want to have your pocket,
Yeah.
you know, you can change it. And I just did everything like the big one, like the bigger place for everything, for the little one.
Yeah, we are hoping to get a case in point update at one of these days, and I'm definitely going to incorporate some of these changes into the update, because I think this is a really brilliant idea. And even the inside, you did the pockets just exactly like you did for A Place for Everything. So that was a smart idea.
So Christy and I, we were talking about it, Christy from Work Baby Scissors, and we came up with that little mini case in our A Place for Everything, and we both started selling it. And I guess the customers still like that size because it's easy to carry around or have it in the evening on your couch, you know,
Right.
with all your EPP.
Yeah, and you can fit a ton of stuff in that bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I just changed a little bit the gusset. I made it as wide as the big one.
Oh, you did. So
Yes.
it's the same size as the large A Place for Everything. Uh-huh.
See?
Got it. Yeah, I think you're right. That's a really pretty zipper too, with all those colors on there. Talk about the paper piece border that you did on there, because when I looked at that, I first looked at it and thought that that purple that you used to cover the raw edges on the side was satin stitch embroidery.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked further and I said, oh my gosh. So tell them what you used.
So this one is the same like the big one, the curved flying geese border. I think I reduced it to 50%. So the pieces were really teeny tiny. And then because I don't like raw edges, I said, okay, what I'm doing now, either you can use on the bias a fabric strip to cover it and iron it over, but I used the fold over elastics and it worked out just great.
Yeah, I never ever would have thought of that, but that turned out so good. So you just folded the elastic so that the
Stitched it
fold was
on.
at the top and stitched along the bottom edge.
Yeah,
And then when you sewed it in, you sewed along the top edge.
yeah,
And it followed those
Yeah.
curves beautifully.
yeah.
Yeah. And the color matches that bag so
Yeah.
good. And use that same circle ribbon up there above, which is so cute.
Just like the big boy, yeah. So I wanted something matchy.
So the pattern has just the pocket. So you just added this at the top
Yeah.
of the zipper.
Yeah,
And on that one, you added fabric underneath it too. So you added like a fabric
Yeah.
border there. Very nice.
thank you.
Very, very cute. Well, Nicole, those are amazing. Thank you so much for
It
sharing
means
everything
a lot.
you've made.
It means a lot hearing that from you, from the master.
It's always fun for me to see someone take my patterns and, do something different with them. So it's what's the word that I want to use? But it's kind of, it makes you feel good when you've written something that people can can modify and make it their own too. So thank
And
you.
your patterns are just great for it. It's really, your patterns are so well written. And even if you're a new bag maker, if you really follow step by step, you have a great bag in the end. It doesn't matter how experienced you are or not, just follow the steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And check them off as you go so you don't miss any.
Yeah, and I say before you adapt the pattern, at least do it one like the original, and then after you've done that, then you can adapt.
That's a really smart idea.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people too, because until you've made it once, you don't really understand how all the pieces come together.
Yeah.
So make it so that you understand, so that then when you're ready to adapt it, you know, okay, if I'm going to add a border on this pocket above it, how's that going to impact the pockets that's on the inside? Am I
Right.
going to be sewing through it, or am I okay doing this here?
Right.
Or if and if it is going to impact it, then do like you did, where you made that pocket all one big tall one, so you didn't have to worry about sewing through it.
Right.
But until you've made a few of them, you don't have the knowledge to even think about that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good.
I really like doing those little mini ones. I think they are just cute and handy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should we talk about this?
Yeah. So, and I have a surprise bag for you, Annie.
You have a surprise bag for
I
me?
have a surprise bag for you.
Another one that I didn't know was coming. I can't see what you made.
So I know you like the diamond bag, and I was thinking, okay, let's do a diamond bag for Annie because she really likes the bag, and I want to do something special. But it was also really terrifying for me to make a bag for the bag master.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
I hope
I
you-
have admired that bag ever since I saw you start posting it. So it is fabulous.
I really, really hope you like it. I really, really hope you like it. Thank you so much for having me.
I cannot wait to see what is in here. So if you guys don't know what the diamond bag is, when Tula Pink and Pink Door Fabrics came out with the Diamond, Queen of Diamonds Block of the Month kit, and everybody spent a whole year doing Queen of Diamonds blocks. And the blocks were really big, so
18.
they didn't fit in most of the bags that were out there. So Nicole very cleverly designed a bag that kind of started with a ByAnnie bag and incorporated a lot of things that you'd learned as you'd made other bags too,
Right.
to make a special bag. So I have seen it and drooled over pictures of it. Now I get to see one in person. And oh my goodness. All right, you have got to see this. Look at this. So we've got flying geese going all the way across. We've got the ribbon border, the pocket with the kitties all the way over. I love this. I was at my grandson's in Montana last week, and he has 2 new tabby kitties. So this fabric is so perfect because it will make me think of him every time that I use it. Oh my gosh. And then, oh my goodness, look at this. Paper pieced diamonds going all the way up the side with little mouse right here. Is this applique on here?
Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh my goodness, I hadn't even noticed this. My name on the back.
So this is all paper pieced. Yeah.
This is paper pieced.
This is-
I've never seen an alphabet paper piece like that. That is gorgeous. And appliqued more in here. So this is the front, I assume.
that's the front.
Very cute. Oh, and here's a handle with a nice little padded carrying strap with a little kitty peeking out. Oh my gosh, Nicole. You outdid yourself on this. But we got to look at the inside. Oh, and this is clever. See, I have not seen this new ribbon either. Or is this ribbon or webbing?
That's the new webbing from
Whoa.
Renaissance Ribbons, and I
Whoa.
love it.
I love it combined with the 1 inch and the 1.5 inch too to really make that unique. Oh my gosh. All right, let's open it up and see what's inside. So this is different from, I remember now, you based this off of Pack It In, didn't you?
That's the original.
So your zipper is attached to that.
Yeah, the original pattern for that is the Pack It In from you. So I use the measurements and the base measurements from the packet in, from the large one.
Oh my gosh. And you turned the handle so it's on the top instead of at
Yes.
the back. But other than that, and then instead of having the mesh, you put a full quilted
Yeah.
piece on there. Very clever. Oh my gosh. See, I've always wondered what this looked like on the inside. I've seen pictures. Oh my gosh, look at the little cat peeking out under the vinyl pocket. So you did a vinyl pocket in the base.
That's normally I'm not doing, but I did it for you because it's your
'Cause
bag.
you know I have
It's
Tons of
because
stuff to
it's
put
for
in there.
because it's for the Annie. I had to do something special, so I added the vinyl pocket. I added here on the gusset a zipper pocket. Plus, I added here a little bit like all around mesh
the round
pocket
mesh
for
pocket.
thread or whatever.
Oh yeah. Well, you could put all kinds of stuff
Yeah.
in there. And then this is really clever. This is kind of what we do on a place or on Divide and Conquer, where we have the attached pockets on the inside. But I love this idea where you have a snap at the top to hold it up. So you can easily access
Yeah.
everything that you're working on here and have this up out of the way. So a zippered pocket there. And then is there another pocket on that side? Oh my
That's
gosh, yeah, another pocket there. And then even more pockets here. So mesh going across here.
For tools, or pencils.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. And we talked a little bit when I had seen these. I said, how are you getting those edges so stiff? So talk to us about what you do in here to keep this from collapsing.
So the original packet in from you is all quilted together, and we all know as bigger the bag, as more it can collapse and it's not sturdy enough.
Right.
So ideas from other patterns I had, I quilt just the front, the softened staple with the front fabric, and then put Paltex in between, and then the
Oh
lining.
yeah, I can feel that there.
Yeah, but you will especially
This
feel
one
it
is
here.
really stiff.
So that's 2 or 3 layers of Paltex, and I
Two
get
layers of Peltex, okay.
and I go and get me the placemats from the Dollar Tree store, cut them a little bit smaller than the Paltex, and layer them in between the Paltex, and
And
add,
and then so you can't quilt through that.
No.
Oh, could you quilt through it?
not to, I don't think through the plastic, because it's kind of plastic, those placemats.
It's like hard plastic. Yeah, I can definitely feel that in there. But boy, what nice sturdiness that gives that.
And that was for me
Yeah.
important that this part is
Stays up and
Yeah.
is rigid, kind of. Well, this is fabulous. What an amazing gift. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my gosh, I am totally blown away. I love this.
So the name came out when I made it back for Chelsea from Pink Door Fabrics. Right before she posted her bag, she texted me, "What do you want to call the name?" I said, "Oh my goodness, what do we call it?" And then I just said, "You know what? Call it Diamond Bag." And since that,
Which is
it's-
so perfect. So perfect for it. Thank you. Look at this. Look at this cute little kitty peeking out over inside the pocket. You did a masterful job on this. Thank you, thank you. All right.
I'm happy you like it.
Oh, that is a treasure. That is an absolute treasure. I will use that. I can't wait to start putting stuff in it. My grandson just came back from Montana, and we usually always do a Friday night sleepover, but he came over today for lunch with all of us and said, how about tomorrow night too? So I think I'm going to stay home with him on Thursday, and he can help me get my bag all filled up and
Fill
ready
it up
to go.
and send me pictures.
I will do that. I will post them online too. So thank you so much for sharing all of that.
Thank
So Hawk, can you move down to, I want to talk a little bit about kind of your whole business structure, because it's unusual for me to get to talk to somebody who makes bags to sell. And we are often asked if we make bags to sell, which we do not do, because there's just, we can't even keep up with getting our stuff. You can stop right there, that's a good place. But I just wanted pick your brain a little bit because I know there are other people out there that doing it. So when you're approaching this as a business, let's talk first about fabric because you are really good at combining fabrics. I found that interesting to hear you say that you focus pretty much just on Tula. So when you do that, how do you decide how much fabric to buy? And how do you pick and how do you come up with that?
So I order most of my fabrics from Sherry, from Quitches Get Stitches. And we became really, really close friends, and I just love her and her shop. So I pre-order pretty much my fabrics from her and pre-order at least 5 yards.
5 yards of everything in the line.
Yeah, from the whole line. And then if I like a print really, really much, then I order more than that. But I start at least with 5 yards. Yeah, and so I go from there.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit too, because when you do that, when you sell bags, do you have like an inventory of bags made and you put a picture up and say, here's the bags that are available for sale? Or do people mostly contact you and just say, I would like this bag, and then you make it? Do you make them ahead of time or do you make them just for custom orders?
It depends. Sometimes I make bags when I don't have custom orders, then I make a bag and list them on Etsy, or I show them on the Facebook page or social media, and then they can contact me if they want to purchase. But normally the customers, they reach out to me through Instagram, Facebook. Hey, I would like to have a custom bag, like a diamond case. Can you make it for me? And I would then ask what fabrics you would like. So I go from there.
Have you ever had anyone pick something besides Tula fabrics?
Yes.
Yes? Yeah. And was that hard to do?
There were some fabrics I didn't like to do. Yeah.
Yeah. When you have a certain style,
yes.
It's sometimes hard to do something that somebody else has
Yes,
picked.
yes.
Yeah.
And I finished the bags. If I love them, I don't think so really much. But if the customer's happy, that makes me happy,
And in most cases, when they pick fabrics, do they give you all the instructions, or do they just say, I would like one made with Tula Pink Tabby Road, and I want this fabric on, I want to feature the cats? But do they leave a lot of it up to you, or are most people pretty specific about what they want?
It depends on the customer. Some they really know where they want to have what fabric, so I just do whatever they want. Sometimes if they tell me, hey, I want to have that and that fabric, and I look at it, I reach out to him, I give him my honest opinion, as I would say, hey, that doesn't look good.
Yeah.
That doesn't look good, and then I show him what fabrics would look maybe better.
Yeah.
So, but it's all the time up to the customer how they want to have the fabrics layout. So yeah.
And a lot of it takes a little bit of doing it over and over again to know what's going to work good.
Right.
It's sometimes hard when you're just looking at a piece of fabric to know how it's going to fit together. So experience really makes a difference there. You were telling me that your relationship with Sherry at Quitches
Get Stitches.
Quitches Get Stitches. That is such a great name. Hawk was it was Jim that was telling us that when you're in prison, they say snitches get stitches. And so that kind of was a take on that, which I thought that will help me remember it. But I have seen this in the past, that you have done raffles of your bags, and I had never seen anybody else do that, and I thought that was such a fun idea. So can you tell us a little bit about how that came to be and how that works?
I really don't know how it started, but Sherry and I make the bags, so we discuss what kind of bags, and I guess a lot of people, they like to have place for everything back. But it's maybe not all the time affordable for most of the people, when they order one. So we were thinking, okay, that would maybe be a good idea to raffle it away. So I make the bags and send it to Sherry. Sherry has done most of the work with the videos and the pictures and everything. And she gives then a head start. Later say, hey, Friday we start a raffle. It will be $5 a ticket, and it's limited for the ticket, so everyone has a chance. And then she's doing it on her Facebook group. And so we started doing the raffles.
That's such a smart idea. So a bag that might sell for $300 or $400, and they say, I can't really afford $300 or $400, but I can afford $5 for a chance to this.
Right.
Put their name in the hat, and some lucky person gets that. I think that is such a smart idea. So do you have any raffles going now?
Right now not, but we should do another one for sure.
Yeah, I think that these bags that you showed, not mine. Mine is not available for raffle. That is staying right here. But these other bags, are they spoken for? Are they sold yet?
All these other bags will be for sale.
So, you guys, if you're interested in a raffle on one of these, go to Nicole's Instagram page or leave us a comment. I'm sure she can check our comments on Facebook and YouTube. Leave us a comment and let Nicole know which of the bags we showed today you think you would like to buy through a raffle, and then I'm sure she and Sherry can make that happen. So follow Nicole on Instagram. We've put it in the links, and it's on your screen too, so be sure and go there. All right, let's go back and talk some more about fabric. So you buy 5 yards. How do you store fabric when you have fabric like that, and what do you do with scraps that you have left over? Same thing?
4 years ago we moved to this little pooper town, Pahrump. It's an hour away from Vegas, and I told my husband I want to have my own space where I can leave the mess and just close the door. So this house had a little work shed, and I said, okay, that's my room. So we just remodeled it a little bit, and I made it to my sewing room. It's only 12 by 14. So it's wool. In the beginning it was big because I had a lot of room, but right now it's tiny, So I have 3 rolling containers. No, it's not containers, cabinets. And those are full with fabrics, full.
So you just flat fold it and put it on there?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you do your paper piecing and stuff that uses little scraps, how do you organize all those little bits?
They go all in a plastic tub. Okay. I should organize it. I should. But, yeah.
We talked about this a little bit because, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, before Jade came to visit and was going to stay at my house for a week, I said, I got to clean this up. So I had organized my sewing room. You can't tell it now. Jade, you would be embarrassed if you saw what my room looks like. But I took all my scraps of fabric, and I had been putting them just in plastic bags. And it was impossible to use them because they were so wrinkled. And, I mean, it was a pain in the rear to have to take them out and iron them every time you went to use it. So I bought some little plastic bins, and I labeled them by color, and I took the fabric and just laid it in there so it's flat, so it's hopefully not going to wrinkle. But I thought the other day, I wonder if I will ever use those. And I had to laugh when you told me that you have the bags of scraps, but when you get ready to do your FPP, you usually just go get a big piece and cut a strip off.
Yeah, because I don't want to go through the whole bin, with the colors. I just toss them there and they're fine. But I really should organize those little scraps, because sometimes just a little 1 by 1 inch scrap.
It's all you need.
It's all what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did all the colors, and then I did one that's just Tula and one that's just Kaif. And then I did all the binding, because a lot of times you'll have 12, 20 inches of binding left over. And I thought, if I was making little clam-up bags, all I need is a few inches to do that binding. So I wrapped those up and organized. I have bins now full of bindings in a variety of colors, too. So one of these days I'm going to use them. I just need more time to sew. That's the hard part. So your zippers, how do you store your zippers and threads and things like that?
Because of limited space, I found those shoe organizers what you can buy on Amazon or even Walmart, and I just hang them on the outside of the doors, and I like to see what I have. So what I have right now is the display that I just see what I have. Right now I'm low in stock on everything, but so I can see what I have, what I maybe need to reorder.
Yeah,
and
which is a nice way to do it.
And the same I do with my webbing. And yeah, just to save space, but still you can see it, you know.
It's not hidden away.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I worry about, putting things in bins. I clean my office regularly and put things in file folders and stick it in the drawer. I never see it again until the next time I go to clean, and it's like, oh, that's where I put that piece of paper. So I have clipboards on my desk, you probably noticed. And I have one that's labeled sewing, one that's Casey and Glow, one that's marketing, and I put it there because I have to see it in front of me to remember it. And I'm kind of the same way with supplies. If it's, not so much supplies because I know what I have and I know what I need, so I have those in little bins. But organizing and keeping track of inventory is a full-time job.
It is.
So let's talk a little bit about foundation paper piecing. I had asked you if you use a computer to design these, and you said you just go on Etsy and find people who've got patterns, and we do have the link, so I'm hoping Randy can put that up because I think these are really fun. And you had sent me the link, and it was really fun to see that she's got a variety of sizes, so it makes it really easy for you to be able to take something like that and make a really fun border to have on a pattern. It got my creative juices going, and we've got some new patterns coming out that have nice little pockets in the front that would be fun places, so I'm going to put some thought into doing some ByAnnie paper pieced border patterns too that are sized specifically to fit a pattern.
It's just a nice touch, and it's really not that hard to do paper piecing.
No, I love to do foundation paper piecing.
I don't know why so many people think it's complicated. No, it's not. It's really not, and you just sew on a paper.
Do you use the add-a-quarter ruler when you do it?
No.
Okay.
No.
I've taken several different classes, and I kind of came up with a hybrid of a lot of things I learned. But two things that I do that I think really make it easier is I fold the pattern on the lines before I start, which really help aligning your fabric pieces. And then I use an add-a-quarter ruler to trim, which prevents you from ever cutting the paper pattern and gets your fabric really easy. So I'll have to show you those tips too. Fun to do. So when you decide to do the paper piecing like this, how do you decide? Grab the
small one?
Yeah. How do you decide on what fabrics to use? Like on that one you did a full rainbow. On this one, I guess you did here too. Where did I see one that was more one color? Or did I dream that?
No, they're all kind of rainbow.
Oh, see, that one's more greens and blues. You don't have any pink in there.
So I usually choose the colors what's in the fabric.
So because turquoise and greens and blues are what you see mostly there.
I pick the colors from the main fabrics what I use and go from there. And aqua, most of Tula's fabrics, they are bright, and they have all aqua and a touch of pink inside. So it's really just make a little cute rainbow.
Yeah. And these are all solids. So is this just her True Colors collection?
These are the the solids. I use the solids. I think for this one I use the True Colors.
Oh yeah.
So the tiny stripes and the tiny dots.
That's really fun. And then you were telling me you really like the Fairy Flakes. Is that the name of the
I love the fairy dust.
Fairy dust, and that's the perfect background because you got little bits of color peeking through there, but really fun. Is that what you used on that one too?
Fairy dust.
Yeah. And that's the turquoise one though.
Yeah.
Really pretty. Very
love,
nice.
I don't know, I just, when I go to blenders, I grab to the fairy dust.
Really?
Fairy dust, I just love the fairy dust.
It's pretty. And this one that you used up at the top, that one's really pretty too with all those colors in there.
This one is actually from the raw.
Oh, really?
That's from
you're right.
From the raw fabrics, yeah.
This is the thing I love about Tula, is how well her fabrics coordinate from line to line and how you can mix and match and combine so many things in there. Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's the raw collection, from the raw collection. And you can I love the rainbows that they go just with so many different fabric collections from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is a master, for sure.
She is.
We love Tula. All right, let's talk a little bit about kind of when you're in the business of making bags to sell, how you schedule your time and how you set prices and things like that. Can you go down just a little bit, Hawk? Do you sew all day every day, or do you wait till you get an order and then work till it's done? How do you organize that? When you take an order, do you give people a certain set time that you're going to have it done? How does that work?
So when I get a custom order, I normally say all the time it takes me 2 to 3 weeks. If it takes me 2 to 3 weeks, normally not. But I like to
Life happens.
expand
You
my
gotta leave a little
time
time in there.
because I do not like to rush to go through custom orders. In this moment, I rush, everything goes wrong. Everything goes wrong. So I give myself a little bit time, and then I just go from order to order. And if I sew the whole day, I like to start sewing around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning because I cannot sleep really well in the night. But that's my favorite time to sew early in the morning. And then by the time my husband comes home around 3:30,
You're done.
Yeah, I'm done.
That's been a long day. Yeah.
Mondays I'm not sewing because Mondays is my big cleaning day. That's
Your cleaning day?
That's
Yeah.
my big cleaning day. Yeah.
And every once in a while you got to stop and do that,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
So when you do bags, I see that you quilt all your pieces individually. Are you usually working on one bag at a time, or do you do several at a time and kind of do all of this step on all of them and then proceed to the next one at a time?
One at a time.
Wow.
I have done that before and I didn't like it.
Really?
If I have 2, 3 bags doing that in the same time, I don't like that. I like to start and finish with one bag.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand that. I know my model maker, when she does stuff, every once in a while, like on Cut It Out, we'll cut 2 or 3 sets out of the fabric. And that's nice because she doesn't have to change her thread so often. But she said, I have to finish one bag at a time. And she'll change her thread color 10 times on one bag. And I know you were talking about that too, that you do the same thing. And it's just too hard if you've got too many things going to
Right.
remember where you are and what you need to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to, I don't know, I change my thread, I change my feet out all the time. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what machine do you sew on?
I have a Juki TL18. It's
TL18, okay.
has this micro lift, and
So what is the micro lift?
the Juki TL18 is the same like the previous model, the 2010, I think, but mine has a micro lift. So you just unscrew a little bit the pressure, and you can sew from really thin to really thick, from thick to thin with no problems and no
Oh,
skipped
really?
stitches. Yeah.
So it like lifts it up?
It's like lifting the foot. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I love that machine. It's a straight stitch machine only, but
That doesn't affect anything
No.
you've done. One thing that I noticed is the beautiful thread that you used, and so I would like it if you would share what needles you use, what stitch length you use, and also what thread you use, because I know people always ask that question.
So I normally start when I quilt with my machine. I normally use a 40 needle. By the
14.
by
Okay. 90-14.
yeah, and when I'm done, especially by the diamond case with all those layers, I can end up with a 80 needle. So with the wood, yeah.
So 14, 16, 18,
Yeah.
all the way up to an 18,
Yeah.
which would be like a 120, I think. Wow.
Because I don't like skipped stitches, and I just want to have it stitched,
Yeah.
and I don't want to deal with skipped stitches, so I go all the time a little bit up. I discovered Glide thread. It's a polyester 40-way thread, and I love Glide thread.
We went on a little quilt shop tour yesterday, and we stopped in at one of my favorite quilt shops in St. George called Quilted Works.
Yeah.
And they had a whole big rack of it. So I was going to buy 7 colors. She helped me pick out colors that go good with Tula's fabric. And Lori, who's the store manager, came out and said, "Oh, I'll give you a little box," which I thought she was going to bring me like a paper box to put them in. And she came out with this cute little box with a lid and a handle, and it would hold 10 spools. So we all laughed because I said, well, I need 3 more spools to fill my box up. And she said, well, usually if someone buys 10 spools, we give them the box, but you're special. We'll give you a box with some. I said, I'll buy 10. But I thought that was a really smart idea for them. And she said that you can stack them up and just have one lid at the top and they all hook together. So I can't wait to try it because I really love the effect. And that was one thing else that I noticed is that you use a lot bigger stitch than I normally do. So I usually do like a 2.5 and you said you do usually
3.5 to 4.
3.5 to 4 for everything, not just for your quilting.
Yeah, me personally, I don't like those tiny stitches. I like.
Well, if you ever have to take anything out, the bigger stitches are definitely nice for that.
I do tiny stitches when I'm almost done with assembling. Then I like to do the smaller stitch length so I know it's all compressed in together. But for quilting, top stitching, 3.5 to 4.
4. That's great. All right. So knowing how much work goes into any bag, and like I said earlier, people always ask us if we sell our bags, and it's like, no way, because we don't have time. But I'm really impressed that somebody can do this and manage to sell them and make it worth your time. So can you share a little bit about pros and cons, how you got started actually making bags to sell? You mentioned a little bit about the Golden Knights, who are the hockey team in Las Vegas, and they had asked you to make some simple tote bags.
A woman, I don't know, I think it was from my husband, a co-worker, she asked me to make some Golden Knight bags, tote bags, and I made a little order for her, I think maybe 10 bags, tote bags. And then I figured out, you know what, I could make money with that, So I started, like just 6 years ago, with going through Facebook, and then I discovered Instagram, with the different patterns, and then, so I started slowly making bags, and then I discovered your patterns, and your patterns, they terrified me in the beginning. Really, they terrified because of the binding.
And look at your beautiful bindings all over the place.
So I avoided all the bags what had to do with binding until I really put my girl pants on, and I said, you know what others can do, I can do too,
Exactly.
So I watched your tutorials, and Wendy Jones from the Facebook page, she's doing amazing workshops. Really.
She does, yeah. She really is a great teacher.
You learn so much, and so I started again with my binding skills and managed them.
You did, yes.
The only thing I'm still not able to do is a nice, when I assembled the...
You say that, but look at this, how beautiful your binding is on both sides. You can do it.
That, yes, but not a big bag like that. I rather really sit on the couch and do 2 hours of hand binding than have a crooked binding. I don't know.
I'm sending Nicole home with a ByAnnie stiletto and pressing tool, because she said, I have a stiletto, but it's not yours. And I said, well, you need one, and I want you to try bindings completely by machine with that, because I think it's going to be a game changer for you.
But
I'm okay. If you want a hand stitch, you go for it, because that's awesome.
So that's the last thing what I do in the bag is hand binding, because it looks nice, it looks
beautiful.
neat, and it's clean, and I don't see any crooked lines, And especially when you ask customers, you want to please the customers. You don't want to send anything out what doesn't look good, And it's my biggest fear to send something out and they're not happy with my work.
Has that ever happened?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So tell me a little bit about, how do you establish pricing? Do you keep track of all your time in it? Do you have a set price per bag so that you don't have to worry about that? How do you do that?
So when I started pricing, what I say, do a bag first, but you cannot sell, if you make a first time a bag, you cannot sell that and price that, because the first time bag takes you all the time.
Right.
Double the time.
Yeah.
So do a bag 2 or 3 times, and you know how much time you need, and then you can go from there. I also like to go through Etsy and check other prices, and if I'm really not sure about pricing, I reach out to my friend Christy from Rock Baby Scissors, because she's doing that so many more years than I do.
Yeah.
And then I look and ask her how much she's pricing her bags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. But the thing that I told you too is don't sell yourself short, because there's a lot of effort and a lot of time in it and a lot of experience that you've gained over the years, that you can't just take the time that it takes you to make one bag and say, you know, that's it, because you've learned a lot and accomplished a lot. And
With every bag you make, you learn something new.
Yeah.
Really, you learn something new with every single bag. And sometimes what takes me one day only maybe 10 minutes to do, it could take me a half hour the next day, you know. It's from day to day different.
amen.
Amen.
Yeah, and the things that you have to take out and start over. Like, I was working on step outs for a pattern that we're updating, and I was putting zippers in a mesh pocket, and I said, it's a good thing that no one is going to see this bag. You know, the graphic artist will draw those lines straight, but I could not sew a straight line on those zippers to save my life. And it was, 2 o'clock in the morning when I was doing this, so I wasn't going to rip it out and start over. So my grandson's going to get a nice little zip it up bag.
That's good. That's okay.
I figure I am not taking this out and starting over. He could care less. He just likes having a zippered pouch, and he'll enjoy it. So, all right, let's move on to a few questions. So one of the questions was, where do you purchase your pre-made binding? And is that in one of the links?
Amazon. I ordered that from Amazon. You can buy those in the big spools, and they have all different kinds of colors. So
Okay.
I ordered the
Is it made out of cotton, or do you know what fabric it is?
something close to cotton, yeah.
Huh.
Something close
And
to
is
cotton.
it already folded?
It's
and
already
ready to go?
folded,
So you
it's
just
ready-
open it up and stick your fabric in and sew down the edge.
It's ready to use, but I can send a link later on, and put
Yeah.
it on my Instagram. Or
Yeah, put that on your
Yeah.
Instagram and share that. And your zipper charms, you talked about that earlier, so we've already covered that. Somebody may not have missed that. Can Annie and Nicole collaborate to turn the diamond case into a ByAnnie pattern? We've talked about that, so I've got things on my list for at least this fall, but we've talked about it, and it is definitely a consideration, because I think this is an absolutely fabulous bag that people would really enjoy. So thank
it's
you.
up to you. You're the pattern writer.
I know you said pattern writing is not
No.
at all what you want to do, so we'll
No.
talk. We'll see what we can come up with. So thank you so much for making the time to drive all the way to St. George to be with us today. I so appreciate it. I can't tell you how much this bag means to me and how much I'm going to enjoy using
I'm
it.
so
And
happy about
thinking
it.
of every time I use it, I'll think of you. So
Aw,
thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Annie. Really.
You are
Thank
welcome. And before we let you go, remind us, everybody again, how they can connect with you, where they find you.
I'm active on Instagram. I think that's
And
where
what's your name there?
Nicole Stich'n'up, but there is another Nicole Stich'n'up flowing around. That was my old account, what I had before I got hacked. And now it's Nicole Stich'n'up with a little dash.
A little underscore
Yeah,
at the
underscore,
end.
yeah.
Okay. And Stitch
Stich'n'up.
in up is, are there underscores in between that, or is it all one word?
One
All one word, okay. So Jake will put it up on the screen too, so that you can find it. And you have an Etsy shop, but like you said, all the fees and things get expensive. You would prefer that people contact you through your Instagram account if they're interested
Or
in
through
having a
Facebook.
custom bag made.
Yeah. I rather do send invoices with people out and go through Etsy, because Etsy is a good starting point, but I don't like the selling fees and everything, so I really want to have my own website and go away from Etsy, but Etsy is a good starting
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, setting up a website is a huge endeavor and also very expensive for people to be able to get started there and have that all taken care of. There's
Yeah.
benefits to that, but there's also, when you're trying to price a bag and make it worth your time and also make it something affordable, if you can skip some of those fees, that's really helpful too.
Oh yeah.
So
It is.
yeah. So thank you again for making time to be with us. I can't wait to see what you make. I hope you have a safe trip home, and we
Thank
will
you.
see you again soon.
Thank you.
All right. I think that's all we had for today. Do we have oh yes, one thing I want to mention is hopefully watching what Nicole did gave you some ideas for projects that you can customize and make your own too. Maybe you can add a little foundation piece border on something, or modify the size, or play around with fabrics and do something different. If that doesn't interest you at all, but you'd love to have a beautiful bag like this, be sure to contact Nicole, and maybe she can make one for you. Either way works. Do it yourself or let Nicole do it for you. Remember, ask for all these patterns and supplies at your local quilt shop. They are such an important part of our sewing and quilting communities, and it really is up to all of us to keep them strong and vibrant. And if they don't have these products, they can get them either from their favorite distributor or directly from us. We're always happy to set up wholesale accounts for them, so just ask them to contact us for more information. And on the subject of local quilt shops, be sure to stay tuned at the end of this episode to see the video clips of 2 local quilt shops that we featured this week on social media. So one of them is Stitched on 2nd in Gold Hill, Oregon. They were the regional winner for Oregon in this year's LQS contest. They are tucked up right next to the Rogue River in southern Oregon, and they are really making waves for their local sewing community. We also featured Sew Charming Quilt Shop in Clanton, Alabama, and they were the regional winner for Alabama, not only this year, but also last year. So if you are in central Alabama or just passing through, this is a really must-stop destination quilt shop. Thank you again to everyone who joined us today. We had planned to have another special guest with us next week, but they have had to postpone their visit, and we are really in crunch mode trying to get new patterns done. Glow got back yesterday from Spain, and so hopefully we're going to be filming add-on videos within the next week or so. So we are really going to focus on that next week. But we are going to be back on Wednesday, August 21st, with another really extra special guest, when we are going to be joined in the studio by my friend Greta Greenspan from Germany. So this is our month for friends from Germany, I guess. But Greta and I have been trying to get together to share ideas and sew for a long, long time, and we are finally making it happen. So Greta is an amazing quilter and maker. She is a former shop owner. She is just a super interesting person, and she has an amazing sense of humor. So she is going to share lots of fun ideas for quilting using your domestic machine and more, and you are not going to want to miss it. So mark your calendar now, and until then, happy stitching!
Hi, I'm Teresa Coates of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Today we are visiting Stitched on 2nd in Gold Hill, Oregon. They are the regional winner this year from my home state of Oregon. Stitched on 2nd was the result of a fateful meeting of 2 entrepreneurial spirits. Suzanne and Janet met while working at another quilt shop, but both had their own home-based businesses as well. As their side hustles grew, they decided to join forces and launch their own studio. Janet focused on her long-arm quilting business, while Suzanne grew her custom bedding and alteration services. As curiosity about their work grew, requests for sewing classes and supplies followed, prompting them to gradually expand their offerings. With the addition of a Bernina dealership, the business grew even more. They acquired 2 adjoining storefronts. One storefront houses the classroom, and the other showcases their thriving quilt shop. Stitched on 2nd is described by their customers as light-filled, bright, warm, and inviting, a place that feels like a quilt show all by itself. Suzanne and Janet have created a shop that draws quilters in with its cozy charm and vibrant energy. They pack a lot of heart into 1,800 square feet. Within their shop, you'll find everything needed for the quilting and embroidery enthusiasts. They have sewing machines and accessories, machine embroidery supplies, long-arm quilting, classes, and all of the supplies that you need to make a quilt. The customers who voted for them in the local quilt shop contest this year were full of compliments for their well-stocked shop and caring attitudes. Whether it's staying open an extra 15 minutes or taking the time with individual customers, Suzanne and Janet have made a difference for their shoppers. Luann told us, "The first retreat I attended at the shop, the people were so very welcoming and included me in all of the fun. I don't make friends easily, but these ladies all made me feel at home. I'm new to the area, and I have found my quilting home." That sense of belonging is important to many of us quilters. Kelly shared, "I love the ladies who own and operate this shop. They've really created a sense of community by providing classes and a space for sewists of all sorts to learn, share, and grow. Stitched on Second's win this year is not surprising given the praise from their customers. I know I'll be stopping in the next time I'm in Southern Oregon. If you find yourself driving up I-5, make sure to pull off at Gold Hill and check out the shop, but if you're able, make it a longer visit. Southern Oregon is gorgeous, and Gold Hill sits near the banks of the internationally acclaimed Rogue River. Known for the whitewater rafting, which was a common summer adventure for my family, the Rogue River area is a popular destination for camping, hiking, and fishing. Add in a drive to Crater Lake, just 90 minutes away, and you'll get to see the very best of the area. I am so glad I learned more about Stitched on Second, and I hope you did too. If you live near them or are planning a trip to Oregon, be sure to stop in and check them out and tell them the folks at ByAnnie say hi. Until next time, happy stitching. Hi, I'm Teresa Coates of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Today we are visiting So Charming Quilt Shop in Clanton, Alabama. In 2024 and 2023, they won the local quilt shop contest for Alabama, a feat they take great pride in. The whole team put in extra effort this year to spread the word about the contest and encourage their customers to vote. In April of 2024, So Charming celebrated a decade in business, an evolution that took them from an embroidery shop to Alabama's favorite local quilt shop. When Penny Smith and her daughter Emily opened their home office doors, it was to do custom embroidery for people. But as that business grew, they began offering more supplies for local crafters. Soon it was clear they needed to be selling a whole lot more. They found a storefront and brought in fabrics, notions, yarn, cross-stitch, and of course, more embroidery supplies. These days, their shop in downtown Clanton is filled to the brim with all of the supplies their customers need to do a variety of quilt making and needlepoint. Providing for the customer's needs has always been important to Penny and Emily, and this is obvious when reading the comments in our local quilt shop contest. Many people commented on their helpful and positive YouTube videos. Whether you're looking for a shop update or a sewing tutorial, they have something for you. Vicky commented, "The how-to instructions on YouTube and the overall presentation of info was excellent. I wish that this shop was in New Hampshire." While the shop might be far away, it hasn't stopped many quilters from tuning into their videos and ordering from the shop, no matter where they are. Locals are lucky enough to get an even more personal touch. Lorna told us the service is impeccable. They have a vast inventory, and if they don't have it, they will get it for you. Penny and Emily are always available to help when you get stuck. This is what makes local quilt shops special. There's often someone available to give us advice, help us make a choice, or to learn new skills. And it makes a great reason to shop from an LQS like So Charming. Situated off of I-65 between Birmingham and Montgomery, So Charming Quilt Shop is an easy drive from either city. So make sure that you stop in Clanton for the quilt shop and the peach treats. You won't want to miss the homemade peach ice cream at Peach Park. Make another stop at Heaton Pecan Farm for a variety of candies, pies, and pastries made with the local pecan crop. Just an hour up the road is the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute, and a 2-hour drive will get you to the Gee's Bend Quilters Collective, which is reason enough to get to Alabama in my humble opinion. I really enjoyed learning more about So Charming Quilt Shop, and I hope that you did too. If you live near them or are planning a trip to either Birmingham or Montgomery, Alabama, be sure to stop in and check them out. Until next time, happy stitching!